Howdy, y'all. I'm here with a video on a tool that can help you get a lot more out of P5. It's called Canvas Sketch, and what it does is it takes your sketch, your P5 sketch, and allows you to hit Command S and get a high-res image output. And what's more, you can also get a video output from an animation, so it's super useful. And I'm seeing this as the first in a series of videos that look at kind of more advanced creative coding. And ultimately, I want to talk about a library called Regal that, for instance, lets you work with WebGL in really interesting ways, and Regal get used in all kinds of places. Here's an animation from the New York Times that uses Regal. Yeah, but let's just get started. So the library I want to look at today is called Canvas Sketch, and as I said, it's just a simple utility. It's really pretty neat utility, though. It was made by a guy named Matt Deslowers or Delors. I'm not really sure, but it's kind of an interesting creative coder who I have gotten really interested in lately. And at some point, I'm gonna have to reach out and say hello to him. Um, this is a tool that he made, or a toy that he made for an advertising agency. I just really like it. It's made actually, I think, using Regal, and it's audio interactive. Really nice animations, and a kind of detail and tight interaction that you can really only get from WebGL, which I'm going to be looking at pretty deeply in the context of this video series. So stay tuned for that. Hit that subscribe button. And here's another thing he made, also with WebGL. I'll put links to this stuff in the description for this video. Yeah, but let's get started. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna install Canvas Sketch, and I'll show you how to use it with a P5 sketch. And Canvas Sketch is not quite like P5, but it's similar. And it uses this kind of declarative style that I really prefer with JavaScript, where you are passing functions into functions and returning functions from functions, and it's I find a really nice way to code, and it's something that gets used a lot in React. And since there's a lot of React developers out there, there's a lot of people out there making declarative libraries these days. And Regal is another one of those libraries. So I would say there's almost like this ecosystem of declaratively coded APIs for dealing with your various web technologies. And, you know, I've been looking for one. If anyone knows, hit me up in the comments if you know of a declaratively coded audio API, because I've been looking for one. I haven't really found it yet. And if I don't find one, I'm going to have to make one. But at any rate, let's just stick with Canvas Sketch for now. And navigate over here to Matt's GitHub, and then this repository, Canvas Sketch. And this is available also at NPM. As is another project that Matt put together that I've been using quite a bit, which is called Budo, which is it's kind of like live server in VS Code. But with all this technology, with Canvas Sketch and Regal, what we're gonna do is basically build web apps. And you can see here I've got this sketch running. It's the this pen.js file. There's no index.html. This is just code that's being executed by Node. So one requirement for using Canvas Sketch is going to be to download Node, and again, I put the link to that in the description. I've also made a video on installing Node if you need help with that. But if you just took my class at Berkeley, then you probably already got Node installed and you know a little bit about it. So that's a good thing. And I'm going to just assume that you can handle that or watch that video and not do that right now. But what I am going to do is start off by making a empty folder. And I'm just going to call it output. And I'm going to drag then drop that folder onto the VS Code icon. And in here, I'm going to open up the terminal. I'm going to hit Control tilde, and I've got my terminal. And now what I'm going to do is follow this. So this first command here, npm install canvas sketch -cli -g. And what that's going to do is install the Canvas Sketch CLI globally. So we can just copy and paste that in. And it's going to do a bunch of stuff. It's going to download this from npm, the Canvas Sketch CLI, which is the command line tool for working with Canvas Sketch. And that command line tool will let me build and you can see there's a few issues, but nothing too bad. These are things that Matt should probably deal with at some point, and I hope he will. I'm not going to make a new directory called My Sketches or move into that folder because I'm already in the folder that I want to do stuff in. So I'm just going to take this line here, Canvas Sketch. So that's going to run Canvas Sketch, and then sketch.js is the name of the file, and pass these two flags, new and open. And I can just copy that in Canvas Sketch, sketch.js, new, open. And you can see that command line tool is now generating a Canvas Sketch project for me, and it opens up the browser with this at this localhost URL. And I can take a look at sketch.js, and I can see it's really simple. It's, first of all, requiring this library Canvas Sketch and importing that as the constant Canvas Sketch, which I call here. And so Canvas Sketch, this library, is going to return a function that I'm gonna name Canvas Sketch. And then into that function, I'm going to pass a function that I write called sketch and an object called settings. And so in here is the sketch. And you can see this is that declarative style in action. This sketch is also a function which returns a function that takes an object. And where do these values come from? Context, width, prop. And those are properties from the sketch. And so that context is going to be the canvas, and the width and the height are the width and height of that canvas. And I can change context.fillStyle to say red, and hit save, and it automatically updates in my browser over here. And if I want to save this, this is the really great thing about Canvas Sketch. I can just hit Command S. Oops. I can click in the browser and I can hit Command S, and now it's downloaded an image of this sketch into my downloads folder. And there it is. Now, all this is well and good, and here we are working with the Canvas API to draw a rectangle on top of our canvas. Now, where is this canvas? This canvas is being generated by Canvas Sketch, and so that's a little bit hidden. I generally don't love when things are hidden, but in this case, it just helps us deal with a lot of stuff. Now, what if we want to use a library like our beloved P5, which is really kind of why we're here, is learning how to use P5 with Canvas Sketch. Well, Matt's got an example for that. And so what I can do is, and you can see in the docs, there's lots of more information. And so I want to just, before I do the P5, I want to quickly explain. So this context.fillStyle, context.fillRect, fill.addColor, stop, create linear gradient, all this stuff. We've used P5 quite a bit, which is a library that's built on top of the Canvas API. And the Canvas API will let you do things like draw shapes, make rectangles, do image manipulation and animation, and write text onto the screen. Basically, P5 is a wrapper on top of the Canvas API that makes it easier to use. And so why don't we use P5 in our project? Let's do that. I'm gonna add P5. I'm gonna in here. I'm making a new terminal, but you can see it's at the same address. I'm gonna say npm install P5. So I'm gonna grab P5 from the intertubes, and now we can see I've got this thing called a package.json. Maybe you remember. Package.json keeps track of your dependencies, and earlier this package.json was generated by Canvas Sketch, and it has also lists the main entry point for this application, which is going to be this sketch.js file. And so now we've got Canvas Sketch and we've got P5, and how do I use P5 in this project? So I'm going to get rid of this red thing, and I'm going to say const P5 equals require P5. And I think I also need to specify that I'm using P5 here. But one thing I know for sure is I need to say new P5. And so now that's going to make a global instance of P5 that we can access inside of our sketch. And I'm going to actually not try to do this from memory, but just go to these examples. And with all these examples, you can just, for instance, go to this Canvas 10 print and copy it. Or, another thing you can do is, actually what we can do, maybe I should have done this from the beginning. You can download this whole repo, and I can copy this, and in my terminal, I'm going to say cd desktop, and then I'm going to say git clone, give it that GitHub repository, and now onto my desktop, I should be getting this whole Canvas Sketch library. So let's go to desktop. There's Canvas Sketch, and we can actually run all these examples from inside of here if we want to. And you can see in this entire project there's a whole lot of dependencies. But I'm just going to go to examples, and I'm going to grab Canvas 10 print, and I'm going to copy that, and I'm going to paste that into my little project area here. And I'm going to make a new file. I'll say 10 print.js. And we'll go like this. And so now this has got, this other sketch that's creating this grid of lines and rotating them a little bit. If you want to learn more about 10 print, Daniel Schiffman has a great video for doing it in P5. And if I come in here, and I'm gonna just stop this running. So now that I previously had that one running, I'm gonna do Canvas sketch. I think it was live open 10print.js. And there we go. There's my 10print one. And then let's look now at the P5 one. So what I'm going to do is just come back to this code that I downloaded before, or you can just do it right here from the GitHub, right? If you go to examples, and you can just click on a file and grab it. So why don't I just do that? I'll just grab this from here. And you can see it's a little bit different. We're going to be passing in some more information. And so I think maybe I'll make a new file. We'll call it P5. P5 sketch. And I'm going to stop this one. And the P5 sketch, let's take a look at that. So the P5 sketch is going to require P5, and then we'll make a new P5, and we'll tell Canvas Sketch we're using P5. So I assume what will happen is this global instance of P5 will get passed into Canvas Sketch. And then we have access to this window.preload function, which is where we can do all our preload things like load image. And here in Canvas Sketch, and you can see just like before, we had Canvas Sketch takes in a function and some settings. And here's that function declared. We can do a similar thing here. Here we can take this function, take it out of here, and we'll say sketch, and we'll say const sketch equals this function. And this function is just what it's gonna do is create a cylinder in WebGL. So let's see if we can get that to run. We'll say, what was it? Canvas sketch live open P5 sketch.js. And there's the P5 sketch right there. And I can do all the P5 things I love to do, like scale this thing up a little bit. And where'd it go? There it is. It's a little bit bigger than it was. And I can go Command S. Oops. I gotta make sure I click on this canvas. Command S. And now in my downloads, I should get a PNG. So now if I go here, downloads, there we go. And so there's my output from my P5 file. But it's even better. We can also do this with video. So let's take a look at that. And we go here to Canvas Sketch, documentation. And you can see there's all kinds of guides on everything you might want to do, including using GLSL files, which maybe I'll show you at some point. But right now, let's just look at exporting animations. And so to do that, we're going to need this library called ffmpeg. And what we can do is just copy this into our, and I'll stop this running. Copy that in there. And you can see it installed. It did say skipping optional dependency, some stuff for Windows, it looks like, in Linux. But that shouldn't be a problem for us. In this case, I'm on my Mac because my microphone and everything is hooked up to my Mac. All right, and so now we're gonna just use this right here. We'll say Canvas Sketch. I'll give the name of the file, and I'll set the output to TMP, and I'll set this stream flag. So, excuse me. And so what I want to do is in here, I'm going to say canvas sketch. And we're going to do p5 sketch.js. And I'm going to say output equals tmp. And I'm going to say dash dash stream. All right, let's see if that works. Running. And I think... Okay, so I think I need to close these that were already running. Could be getting confused by that. So let's just do that. I'm going to close this one too. And that one too. All right, and so now let's try that again. Canvas sketch, P5 sketch, output stream. There we go. And, you know, I think maybe I also wanted to say live. So let me do that. I'll say like this. And I'll say dash dash live. Live reload running. So for whatever reason, it's not doing that magic thing it does where it opens it automatically. But if that ever doesn't happen, all you need to do is go command click on this server running at link here. And you can go open. And there's the sketch. So now what I'm going to do is I can do command S, and it's exporting a PNG to temp. And let's just take a look at that. So now that temp is going to be inside of my folder, and there's the PNG. All right. So now maybe that's a little bit more handy. Saving it into a folder inside of your sketches folder. But even better, now I can, since I enabled that stream flag, I can go Command Shift S, and you can see it's streaming into this MP4. And I think I specified a duration here in my file. And so I think it's going to just run until that duration is up. But we'll see. I get a little confused by these options still. Okay, there we go. It says finished recording. So I'll go now into my temp folder, and you can see there's my MP4. So that's the animation. And you can see it's got this black background, and I think that's just a setting with, I think maybe Canvas defaults in 2D, defaults to white and black. Otherwise, I'm not really sure. But all I'm doing here in the draw loop, right? And so we can think of this as being our preload. Inside here is like setup, and then this return, this function that gets returned is going to run again and again and again. And in here I'm just saying clear. So maybe I'll say clear, and then I'll say background 255 for white, and we'll try this again. We'll go Command Shift S. Once again, it's recording a video. And we'll just give it, I think it's going to go, what is it, 120? And one of these days I'll get my video making game up so that I'll cut these little chunks out, but not yet. Finish recording, 140. All right, and we'll look in here. And so here's that one, and we can see that one's got the white background. Nice. And that's pretty much it for Canvas Sketch. But like I said, this is sort of like the first step into what I think is a really interesting world of kind of configurable tools. And if I show you, for instance, I can show you this project, which is so here I'm using Budo. I'm using a whole bunch of of libraries actually, including Regal. Maybe I'm not using Regal in this project to oops to interact with WebGL. And if we look at the package.json for this, you can see there's all these different dependencies. A lot of them have to do with GL and working with GL, perspective camera, web audio player. And I think, personally, I think it's a really neat way to work, building these little node applications. And so I'm going to make a whole bunch of videos about it and see if anybody else likes it too. So hit the subscribe button. Come check me out in the Discord channel I set up. Send me an email. Let me know how your creative coding adventures are going. And have fun out there. All right.